Hello. Hey, Richard. How are you going?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Really great. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here on our author interview. Of course, you being one of our highly esteemed authors for How to Be a Six-Star Business, which I'm very excited about.
Thanks for having me. I'm enjoying being here. It's really a great theme. The six-star business. I think it's something that I've kind of lived and breathed without knowing that tagline on it. But yeah, it's something that I've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's why you're here, right? Because we've resonated together, you resonated with the concept, and here you are. So I have a few questions. Obviously, I want our listeners to get to know who you are as an author. Perhaps you could start by just telling us who you are, where you live in the world, who it is that you serve, and maybe something you like to do outside of work.
Sure. I'm Richard Lau. I live here in Vancouver, Canada. I have lived all over the world. I've lived and worked in London, Bermuda, California, and this is home. So I have resettled back down here. Been married 31 years. I've got two boys, 18 and 21, both in university here. And I've been an entrepreneur since before I graduated university, and it's been mostly in technology. So it started in communications, cell phones, pagers or beepers, and then I fell into the internet right around 1996, and dove into to domain names and started, it was more on the picks and shovels side. I was providing services to people who wanted to register domain names. Mm-hmm. And then I started to buy and sell domains and be a broker. And I did that for over 10 years. And then started a domain name conference, servicing, for the community around internet domain names. And at the same time, started to take these category owning domain names like resume.com or logo.com and build businesses around them, like with real staff, real products, not just not just marrying pieces of software together, but like actually putting the nuts and bolts together. And one of the first businesses that was a huge success with that was resume.com, which we sold to Indeed. And we know what worked, we know what didn't work, and we're doing it again with logo.com. And we serve entrepreneurs, and so it's really easy to know what your product market fit is when it's not hard to take that hat off and on and off, because you're designing a product for your past self. I wish I had this when I was launching my business, and so then we build it. We constantly get user feedback from entrepreneurs, and it's working.
That's brilliant. And what about something you like to do outside of work? When
about 3 or 4 years ago, I got into the Peloton. I'm on that craze, but I use that to as training for road cycling. And so at the same time I got the Peloton, I got a road bike, set a goal for doing 200 kilometers in 2 days as part of a charity ride. And, all of the 200 kilometers is one thing, right? It's the months of training up to it that is the real commitment. And I've just gotten hooked. And so now that's what I do for enjoyment outside of work is I'll get on my bike and I feel like a kid again.
That's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself in one sentence?
A little crazy, tenacious, loyal, and honest.
Love it. That's great. Tell me, Richard, with regards to the book, what is your chapter about?
My chapter is about impact, and really talking about using technology to impact your customers, to talk, using that technology and leveraging that technology to make a direct impact on your customers, on their lives, so that the thank you that they're giving you is in cash, is in dollar form, but it's a thank you, right? It's a thank you for something that you're doing in their life, and so it's not just a transaction. You're actually making an impact, and if you're not having that attitude of how am I going to make an impact on my customers and how am I going to make an impact in their journey, then just sell knickknacks on the street corner. That's not what your customer wants. There's so much choice out there in the world that your customers they can afford, and they have the advantage of being fickle, and so you have to win them over by actually making an impact in their lives. And so we talk about the impact that we've done through our different companies, whether it was resume.com, where we're doing a resume builder. Resumes, how boring is that? But if you come into it with an attitude of, hey, how am I going to make this high school graduate's life different by having access to a resume that will enable them to get a better job than if we didn't exist? And so that changes your attitude, because you're not approaching it as, hey, how am I going to get this person to open their wallet so I can get $20 out of it? That's not what we're in the business of. We're in the business of changing someone's life, making an impact in their life. And it can be as simple as a razor, or as complicated as artificial intelligence, machine learning logo maker, right? But it's the attitude behind it, and the customers will know it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That is so powerful, and I love how you've said it can be as small as something like this hair clip to something massive, because everything we come into contact with has the potential to impact us in some way, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And if you have that impact in your customers' lives, they're going to advertise for you by spreading the word, by saying, hey, you know what? I had this experience with this company, and that company, you want it to be your company, right? That they're sitting having, drinks with a friend, and or someone says, hey, I need something, whether it's your hair clip. They, I need a hair clip, or I need a logo. You want your company to come top of mind because of the impact that you had made in their life when they were dealing with you. Whether they bought from you or didn't, you want to have that impact in their lives.
Absolutely. Funnily enough, my next question was what impact do you want to create with your chapter? And I kind of think you've answered that. So but if there's something else you want to add to that, please do so.
Yeah, I think that so many people look at, the old adage was the customer's always right. Or you're just you're looking at your company, and you're looking at what's the efficiencies I can make, and if that's not a paying customer, get rid of them, or if the customer is costing you too much, get rid of them. Yeah, there's all kinds of truth behind that, but it's how you treat customers who aren't going to pay you that, to me, really defines how you are as a business person. For instance, we had someone who emailed our customer support. They had a fraudulent charge. They thought it was us, but it wasn't, right? And so could have just sent them could have just hit delete. Could have sent them a one-liner saying, just call your bank and do a chargeback. Instead, it was 10 p.m. Called the guy, talked to him. I was like, hey, I want you to know that it's not us, but you need to contact your bank so that you can figure out who it is. And I got on Google, and I helped him figure out who that merchant was, right? And this is a customer who's not a customer. This is just another fellow human being who came in through our customer support. And, it's 10 p.m. I'm not, going to make any money off this guy, but it's how are you treating this person? Maybe he'll say, hey, you know what? I had this fraudulent charge. It was, $5,000 from a logo company. I thought it was logo.com. Maybe that will happen. Maybe it won't. But that's not the attitude you go into it with. You're not going into it with, what can I get out of it? You're going into it with, hey, I want to make a positive impact with every single person I interact with, whether they're a customer or not. And in the end, that's all going to come back to you.
For sure, for sure. And this is why you're in the book. This is why we've asked, you're part of this. And I'm listening to you speak, and I just get so excited and activated by hearing that, because that is exactly what Six Star is all about. Tell me, what's one idea or action step that a reader could take away from your chapter?
Yeah, I think that, the impact, even if you're not running a business right now, the impact that you can have in someone else's life can be as simple as recognizing that the cashier that you're interacting with, the person who cuts you off in traffic, everyone is carrying something. And you are going to have an interaction with that person, whether you are, whether you show them no emotion, that is showing them something, right? And so you want to leave every interaction that you have with someone better than when you entered that interaction.
Yeah.
And so, you see someone drop something on the street, you want to stop and help them, right? That's like the Good Samaritan, but it's like having the impact doesn't have to be limited to your customers in your business. And if it is, if you're only going to do it there, you're losing out on all these opportunities to practice having an impact on someone. So, if your neighbor, has an issue, or the kid wants to come over and coming into wintertime, they want to shovel the walk, and you're like, you know what? It's like, how much is it? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, come on. Does it really matter how much it costs? This is a person who's trying to hustle. They're trying to make something for themselves. Speak into their lives, right? Have them do it. If they're not doing it correctly, speak positively how they can improve it.
Yeah.
Encourage them that, hey, this is what I did when I was young. Blah, blah, blah. Give them some tips. Like, hey, recommend them to your other neighbors. Every interaction, no matter how small, is an opportunity for you to speak positively into someone else's life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's just gold. What's been the biggest gift to you on your journey that's brought you to where you are today?
I think that I can put my business timeline together, but the biggest difference was a 30-minute networking conference speaker in 2004 that I went to at a conference in Amsterdam. And this guy spoke on the power of networking and how to insert yourself into that networking so that you actually make money. Profit isn't a dirty word. And so I took some of the points that he had in those 30 minutes. I was like, I am connecting people already. I am already doing these things. But I'm not actually, asking for a piece of the action, or I'm not actually adding something onto it to say, hey, can I get involved? And so I took some of the things that he was speaking about in terms of, networking, actually, taking that step of talking to someone, taking that step of remembering who's who, putting people together and saying, hey, can I get involved, or can I take a piece of the action, or a referral fee, a success fee, what have you. And that was life-changing in my business career, in that it really propelled me into some advantageous business relationships that was, win-win-win, because I'm bringing two other parties together, and then I'm getting paid for it. And that was definitely life-changing for me.
Yeah, it's brilliant. What's been the most important skill that you've learnt on your journey?
I always thought that shyness and being introverted and being quiet was a personality trait that was just ingrained. And the skill of speaking to other people and the skill of opening a conversation or continuing a conversation is something that is absolutely a learned skill. Some people it comes naturally, but it is a learned skill. So if you're someone who's taken the last year and a half of COVID and you're like, I love it, I don't have to speak to anybody, that can hold you back in business, and you don't think that, hey, this is it. This is just me. That's the way it is. When I was 25 and I was in charge of, a small division at a company that required me to travel throughout Canada, I would leave my office in Vancouver, get to the airport, travel all the way, and I wouldn't speak to anyone until I got to the office. I'm interacting with dozens of different people, but it's like yes, no, yes, please, civil, polite, but no conversations. And so, I completely learned how to do public speaking, how to open conversations. And, really, I learned a lot of that from my wife, being like, what would she ask in this conversation? Or what would she say? She can get into an elevator. By the time you hit the ground floor, she's got the life story out of somebody that she's never met. And so, learning that, reading books, and practicing how to be more extroverted and get out of your shell.
That's brilliant. That's fascinating. And I have to agree, for someone who is, more shy and introverted, that would have to be a very tough kind of skill to learn, but one that's so important and would enable you to converse with anybody, take you anywhere. It's one of those things that, you can take it wherever you go, and it's really important to have. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant. What's been your greatest challenge on your journey?
My greatest challenge is not being focused. There was a while there I had 6 or 7 different websites going. I was trying to have them all going at the same time. And, I brought in a business partner, and he was very good in just saying, look, you need to focus, right? Any of these things could succeed, but you need to pick one and just put all of your effort into that. And fail fast. If it doesn't work, then toss it and move on to the next thing, but stay focused. So that's been my biggest challenge. It somewhat is still today. I'd love to go down tangents and, especially working from home, you don't have someone looking over your shoulder, and you can spend 3 hours going down a rabbit hole that you shouldn't be going down. But yeah, focus has been my biggest challenge.
And I'm sure that's the same for many other people too. Even I can relate to that one. So yeah, that's great. My last question for you, Richard. What does being 6-star mean to you, and why is it so important?
Yeah, I think that, I'm a local Google guide, so I'm avidly on Google Maps. I review businesses constantly because I'm the kind of guy that goes into a business and I don't just experience it. I want to know how it could be better, and I want to communicate that in a helpful manner to the owner. So when I see a business that is 4-star, I give them 4 stars. So if I see a business that's 5 stars, I give them 5 stars in a small review. When I see a business that's 6 stars, I will sit down and I will write out a review that will win them business, that will draw people to their business. So I'll give you an example because stories always resonate. I'm a big gelato fan. I love ice cream, but more specifically gelato. And so, I'm in a new city recently, a local town about 2 hours from where I live. And my wife and I go to a gelato place, and, go inside, get gelato, go outside, sit down at the counter, at the tables. And this is a gelato store where the cashier is the person scooping, is the person wiping tables, etc., right? So the lady, has no customers for a couple of minutes. She comes outside and she visits every single table to ask how your ice cream is. I kid you not, I've been to 200 or more gelato places in all around the world. I've never had that happen. So, I'm not saying anything to her other than, that's great, fantastic, blah, blah, blah. But, that evening I go onto Google Maps and I write just a great review. Because to me, that is the epitome of a 6-star business. They're going well beyond your expectations, right? You got 4 stars, you're delivering a good product. You're delivering 5 stars, yeah, that's awesome. I had a great experience. A 6-star, my socks are blown off. That's what we're after. You want to make. I don't want to just deliver a product to you. I want to make an impact in your life, right? I don't want to just deliver ice cream to you. I want to know that you had a really good ice cream, right? And to me, that's a $3 product, but the experience we had was 6-star. And so, that's not even my business. I'm just saying that's a great example of a 6-star business. Yeah,
for sure. And you're going to remember that, because out of all the 200 odd gelato stores you've been to, that's the one that delivered that service. And you'll probably, the next one you go to, you'll be thinking about that right. one.
Yeah. Yeah. And anyone that goes to that town, I'll be like, oh, you have to go to this gelato place.
Yeah.
They've got me as a customer and as an advocate for life.
That's it. And that's what 6-star is about. It, like you said, exactly. It's making that impact, creating that experience. And like you said at the very beginning, it's a mindset. It's a way of being. It's not something you just practice part of the time. It's something we need to adopt all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Richard, for answering all my questions and bearing with me. And I've loved getting to know you better. And I'm really grateful to have you on board as one of the authors. And I'm really looking forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be included in the book. It's a wonderful collaboration, and I'm excited to consume and put everything into practice that everyone has put together.
Yeah, fabulous. Can't wait. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.